Go.
So, we've talked before about the many, many people that have died at Disney. Well, I've seen...
Yeah, lots of people.
In my time there, I've seen 2.
You saw 2? I thought I knew 1.
2. I was never allowed to talk about it because basically Disney would come and kill me if I talked about it.
It'd be the whole Mickey finger in the butt.
In the time that I had been there were at least...
Thanks, Kate Summers.
In the time that I had been there were at least 2 people that had died, and most of it was... They usually did it around 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:30 in the morning. Well, we got in, we started at 5. One of them that I was in, he jumped off of... Well, they always jumped off of the Contemporary.
Yeah, it was always the... Well, it's probably because it's a concrete jungle there.
Yeah. Both of the times that I was there and it happened, they jumped off the Contemporary. So, the time that one of the times that I came in, thankfully I didn't have to drive past it. It happened literally a half hour before we went into the area. If we had started at 4:30 in the morning, chances are we would have heard and seen it. And God forbid the guy jumped at the right time, he would have landed on one of the trains.
They scooped that guy up fast because he was gone by the time guests were out and about.
They had to, because imagine taking your kids out, looking over the balcony and seeing... They had him covered, but
it was
still,
big splooch.
Yeah, you could still... There was blood surrounding him, and we found out later it was a guy that... In this instance, it was a guy that was on vacation. His family had decided to go on vacation. He decided while on vacation that he'd had enough, so he jumped from whatever, 4th or 5th floor or something, just jumped right off, and landed on the concrete.
Sploop.
Thankfully, I didn't have to drive past it, but it was, from what I understood, they had the body covered up, but the blood was still out.
Pooling?
It was still pooling, and you could see the blood on the ground, from what I understood. So that happened twice while I was there.
Yeah, maybe don't take your loved ones to Disney when they're, like, critically depressed, just so they can wander around and see all the happy people.
Did Disney report it? Disney has to report it, but
no, they don't have to.
They don't.
They don't have to report suicides.
It never got in the news. It was never in the news.
Disney only has to report deaths that occur inside the park, and that was not inside the park.
Yeah, no, we weren't allowed, and we were strictly told you are not allowed to talk about this.
And suicides don't count.
Yeah. Suicides don't count.
Unless the suicide was inside the park.
It was never released to the media, and we were all told to shut the fuck up. We weren't allowed to talk about it. We weren't even allowed to talk to each other about it.
Yeah.
Which was bullshit, because we all did. It's not like they can take our phones, but I was not one of them that had to drive past that day.
Disney telling us you're not allowed to do something is just daring us to do something. Like, she wasn't supposed to take pictures of, like trains that smashed into each other, then send them to me, but we still did. I'm not supposed to wander around inside the rides and take pictures of every single mechanical bit, but I have a picture of every single ghost in the Haunted Mansion with me taking a selfie with it.
These safeties you speak of, what happens if you leave the gates open and clear the train to leave? That's another safety.
Wait, who is that? Hey, Unit B! He gave you a whole bunch of 4-leaf clovers.
Oh, nice. There's Goofy, that's Mickey Mouse, there's the Haunted Mansion, and that's the smashed corpse.
Yeah, really. That's a depressed individual.
From what I understood, the family had no clue. They had no clue that he was depressed.
I heard differently.
That might have been the other one. I was there for 2 of them.
See, well, the one I heard was that everybody knew that the guy was depressed, and they took him to Disney to cheer him up.
I was there for a couple of them.
This is definitely an odd state. It's my state. Kerploosh. Okay. Alright, our influence is starting to get influential. And, okay, if anybody wasn't paying attention, my ally Maja Pahit started a war with Makassar, who's allied with Tenerate, and then I got in on that war, hoping that I'll get some shit out of it.
So how come Disney doesn't have to report a suicide?
Because they're only obligated to report deaths that are like that was their responsibility kind of thing. Suicides are, people doing themselves and didn't have anything to do with Disney. Unless somebody goes up to like the orbiter and jumps out of a fucking vehicle or something like that.
Well, that cheering up didn't work. No.
Well, like, if you're depressed, a lot of times going out into an open, a big area and seeing and just being surrounded by happy people and watching all the happy people around you isn't going to make you feel better. like through osmosis. It's gonna make you feel worse in relation to how good they're feeling.
And what's funny is, if I was told that if Ben said something, so Ben wasn't in the company, but I was told that if Ben said something, I could get in trouble for it. Which doesn't even make any sense because
yeah, because I didn't even fucking work there.
But that's what my managers told me.
Yeah, well, they're cock goblins, so. Did this one finish? This one finished. So these two are still going. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to move you over here. I'm going to move you over here.
I don't think Disney's actually had any recent deaths.
Not really. Well, I mean,
the park, have they?
no, there have been relatively recent ones. But most of the deaths are people with heart conditions that get on roller coasters. That happens all the time.
That hasn't happened recently, though,
Yeah.
because with Mission Space, once they changed it to green side, people stopped dying constantly.
Check. I mean, I read the website recently. I think the one happened last year.
Oh, really?
At Space, I think. Normally what happens when people die is they get off the ride, like, complaining of chest pains, they call an ambulance, they're taken to the hospital, then they die at the hospital. But that still counts as, you know, an incident at Disney.
I think the funniest one that I ever heard was when...
Yeah, people dying is hilarious.
Have either of you guys been sexually assaulted at work by a guest? No.
No. I mean, neither of us were princesses. So, princesses get their thighs and their tits felt up all the time. All the time.
The one that I heard where I shook my head was...
Oh, they gave me the land! Oh, that's so cool.
Splash Mountain, when they put in the lap bar.
Red Boy, thanks for the following.
They had to put in the lap bar because somebody decided to jump out of Splash Mountain.
Then they still get out.
And he didn't get out.
Nuclear Penguin, thanks for the follow as well.
He ended up tripping, falling underneath the boats, and the boat went over him and drowned him.
Oh, when I was... Okay, because I owe a story, too. I worked in Haunted Mansion most of the time, and so you could see Splash Mountain across the rivers of America from the Haunted Mansion, so, all that stuff's in view. And I remember once we were watching, we were bored and we were just watching Splash Mountain, and the ride went down, and I called someone I knew over there and asked him what was up. And what had happened at Splash Mountain is that someone had gotten out of the ride, jumped into the water, saw an alligator,
yeah,
ran away from the alligator, and when they decided to get away from the alligator by jumping on top of the roof of the gift shop. So there was a guest treed by an alligator on top of the gift shop to Splash Mountain.
That's fantastic.
And the ride had to turn off for hours because of that. That was great.
I'm jealous. That's fantastic.
That was great.
Well, the gators they love getting in that area over by
Oh,
Splash.
yeah, because it's a nice sunning area
and
over there.
It's low, too, so it's easy for them to get in there and just sunbathe.
And yes.
So you'll be going by in a boat, and you'll see an alligator like a foot from you or something.
And Overlord Mike, yes, I am colonizing. I finished colonizing the Philippines, so now I'm moving down to the Spice Islands. The Spice Flow. Although I don't really like Dune, I do like saying the Spice. And as much as I want... Okay, that is a Naval Leader Shock Pip.
Irish whiskey alcoholism is the best disease that pirates had.
Yes! Why is the rum always gone? You know what I should do? We could increase the size of our fleet, make a naval landing here.
Good. I've heard that gator's really good,
I heard it tastes like chicken. Or like a cross between like fish and chicken.
Luckily, Leah's not a princess. That sounds even worse. I've got a story for that though. I think for extra store fees.
There we go.
Speaking of which, should I tell them what one of my coworkers did to me?
5, 6. Yeah, go for that one.
So you guys are asking about being sexually assaulted by guests and whatnot. No, not by a guest. So one of my coworkers liked to pick me up. And I kept telling him not to. I said
because she's so little people like to be picked up and manhandled.
So he kept telling me he was going to pick me up. Well, he picked me up this one time, and he actually pinched the hell out of my leg. God damn it, I wanted to kill him. So then, a second time, I'm going to pick you up, Leah. No, you can't pick me up. I'm going to pick you up. No, don't pick me up. Don't do it. So he comes up from behind me, does that to me, and is cradling me like a baby. Well, he couldn't...
Were your arms on camera when you did that?
Yeah. So he couldn't hold me, and then he dropped me on my head on a wheelchair ramp holder.
Yep. So she got a big old bump.
So this ear was B-red, and he managed to, I had a bit of a, how do I put this? It wasn't a cracked skull, but there was a bit of a scrape on my head.
She had like a minor contusion.
So what he said was, and I went downstairs and we talked to management, and the way that management said it was, he goes, okay, was it a bear hug? No, it was like he was cradling me like a baby.
And
okay,
bits.
did he, let me ask you this, did he touch anything he wasn't supposed to? Yeah, he grabbed my ass. So within 2 hours,
gone?
His ass was gone. He was done.
Fucking idiot.
And what he said was that he blamed it on me because he said that I had gained weight. So I went from 87 pounds, being underweight at 87 pounds. I gained 10 pounds. I was at 97 pounds, so I was too heavy. He said that I was too heavy and I had gained too much weight. It was my fault.
I could pick you up and throw you around like a rag doll, and I only weigh 140 pounds. Here comes the Magnus!
They actually earn 2 stories if you have a story for them.
Let me think.
Yeah, that's why he was.
Oh, I got a pretty good one. When I I didn't want to stay at Fantasyland because I fucking hated Fantasyland. It was god awful. So what I immediately was trying to transfer as a full-time, because I was part-time at Haunted Mansion, then I got a full-time position in Fantasyland, so I had to transfer over there, and then I tried to transfer as a full-time employee back to Haunted Mansion, because that's where I liked working. And Ben, what's worse, Disneyland? Disney World is awful. Disneyland is pleasant and fun and nice, and the food's good, and the people are nice, and everything's fine and dandy over there. Disneyland is fine.
They don't pay their people.
No, they don't pay their people shit, but they don't pay us here either. That's steady across the board. Nobody gets paid anything anymore.
So continue.
But I got it took 11 months, but I finally got my transfer back to the Haunted Mansion, and right as I was about to leave, they changed some safety procedures at Winnie the Pooh. And they're like, well, you have to go through some retraining. And I was like, does it matter? I'm not working a single shift under this new system, so why do I need to get this training? And they're like, well, technically, blah, 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 blah. What is this? We'll decide this in a second, after my story. So, I was going through the training, and the training was basically a change in how you restart the ride after it turns off. And it was supposed to be a new and safer way of turning the ride back on after it goes down, because Winnie the Pooh breaks 10 times a day. So it's off and on and off and on and off and on. And we were going through the training, and the trainer was showing us what to do, and she goes over to the console where you control the ride, and she puts the key in, and she turns the key, and then she pulls the button up that puts the power to the ride. And then she goes, okay, so you do this, and then they will tell you that the power's on, and then you walk over here, and you gotta walk through the ride, and you gotta hit these buttons. And she steps over the beam that the cars run on, and I grabbed her as she went to go step over it and pulled her back, and she looked at me like I was crazy, and she goes, what's wrong with you, Ben? She's like, why would you do that? She's like, I almost fell. I was like, you almost stepped over the live beam. That's got like 1,000 volts of electricity going through it right now. She goes, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. I was like, wait. What you're supposed to do is turn the ride on, then step over the live, like, third bar on, like, a subway so that you can get to the other side of the track and then go and hit all these buttons. She goes, yeah. I was like, that's terribly unsafe. If you tripped and fall and landed on it, you would literally die. And she thinks for a second, she goes, well, they put all the buttons on the inside of the ride, so you have to step over it. I was like, wait. So they came in here, installed all of the buttons on the inside of the track, when just as easily they could have installed all the buttons on the outside of the track, and we would not be in any danger. And she thinks for a second, she goes, well, I guess. I was like, I'm not fucking doing that. That is literally, you step over it. It's a live bus bar. It is a metal beam with thousands of volts of electricity going through it, and the official process is to step over it for no reason.
How did you guys have thousands of volts of electricity going to your rides when we only had 600 going to the trains?
the trains don't require a lot of voltage because it's one engine.
Oh.
And we have dozens of ride vehicles.
Should let her do it. Only cure for stupidity is natural selection.
I'm so glad I never, ever, ever had to actually work under that system because it was so fucking stupid. It made no sense whatsoever. No sense.
It's Disney, though.
No sense.
Do they ever make any sense?
Oh my god. No sense whatsoever.
Well, if you touch, you will be well done for the alligators.
You would, yeah. You would, if you tripped and fell on that and hit it the right way,
yeah.
you'd die. You would die. And it's so stupid because it's the track is a circle. So they put all the buttons on the inside of the track. If they just put them on the other side of the track, on the same side that the console was on, then you could do it without actually having to step over it.
Why do people still go to Disneyland? Because Disneyland is the original, and since Disneyland is out in California,
it's easy.
Disneyland is overseen by the execs. Like, the execs are actually in it. So they eat there, they go and they visit, so it is beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful park. Everything is still the way that Walt had wanted it. Here at Disney World, the execs aren't really out here, so they don't, everything just goes to shit.
Okay. There's a couple good wars,
guys. The food isn't great. The rides, they don't keep up with the rides anymore. The park looks like shit.
Disneyland's a hellhole.
Disney World is a hellhole.
Disney World, I'm drunk.
Yeah, dude, we have a saying at Universal that management does things the Universal way, meaning either it's all broken or stupid as hell.
At Disney, they did get us to 50%, so we do one more story.
No, we don't. That was all.
Well, I'm telling another story then.
We'll wait until they get to 60, Mr. Drunky Poo.
Fine, making me follow rules. I guess I had another story. Oh, I actually made some. That was a really good war. I got a 14 dev province, 19 favors with a decent ally, and some money.
I love Universal. They're talking about Universal. I love it. Universal is so.
Once we get a little bit more, once we're a little bit more stable, and after the transition of jobs, we'll get passes again.
Fan meetup at Disney World? Probably not. We don't get in there for free anymore. It's expensive as shit.
No, fan meetup at Universal, and I'll challenge all you motherfuckers to a donut eating contest. The big Simpsons donut.
Okay, well, we're gonna have tickets before we do the Universal thing.
Yeah, obviously.
Does Ben like pancakes?
Yeah.
I could go for some blueberry pancakes
I prefer waffles, but I do like a pancake.
We should do blueberry waffles soon.
I'm actually doing pretty good. That was sweet. We took over all of these islands here in, like, 5 years. Oh, fuck you, mother bitches.
Challenge accepted.
I've been able to get through, like, 3/4 of one of those in one sitting. It was amazing.
You go do that. I'm going to get a
butterbeer
ice cream.
Yeah, butterbeer ice cream is good. Butterbeer.
Pancakes are much better than waffles. I do prefer
I like the waffles logistically.
You would.
Because the waffle comes pre-made with syrup holding containers.
We will have waffles soon,
and
but you have to put blueberries in mine.
Oh, that's fine. Then so you just, they got those little containers that come pre-prepped for holding the doodle.
Do you guys see what I live with? And I'm putting honey on it, not syrup.
Oh, I'm putting fucking syrup on it.
That's why I buy you fucking syrup. Oh, we have bacon.
Ooh, we do have bacon.
We do have bacon.
We do have bacon.
Also, Ben, how'd you like the MST3K I sent you?
I don't know what that means.
Mystery Science Theater, I think? These youngins.
Oh, was that on Discord?
Yeah, it was on Discord.
I don't watch the whole thing. Sorry.
Syrup is not better. Honey is better.
Why can't tablets get bits for watching ads? It's only available on desktop. Theory is it's coming to the United Kingdom and other parts of Europe and to tablets in the next few months. Theoretically.
Syrup is not better. Oh, Cyrus is better. Fine, I'll give you that, Cyrus.
Cyrus is better? Cyrus is saying Cyrus is better and you're taking Cyrus's word for it?
Why not? I always misread that.
Also, your mother's a bitch.
Your mother's a bitch.
Oh, you know what? I could, I might be able to Diplo annex this motherfucker. Why are you biting me?
Because it's fun.
Diplomacy.
Diplomacy.
I don't know how to do this because I'm a little drunk.
Why couldn't you be drunk yesterday when I took you out for lunch?
Oh, right. I gotta hit this button. I don't know why. That Sam Adams had no effect on me.
Yeah, and it made me mad. I got bits through mobile app?
Really?
Seriously?
I don't think you could do that.
Coin flip Leah to find the answer for what, Queso? Raspberry syrup? That's a thing?
My mother mated with a scorpion.
Is blueberry syrup a thing? Because if blueberry syrup is a thing, I want it.
It is.
Your mother's a bitch.
Your mother's a bitch.
Benjamin's a little drunky poo. How what?
Mr. Booze.
Well, right now he's going to the bathroom.
B-double-O-Z.
Ben, they want you to drink more. Okay, I'll get right on that. Oh, Sarah versus Honey, Leah, the old question. Honey is better, and it's better for you. Your mother is a harlot, nice Sauron. I would probably like blueberry syrup, though. I would totally try that. Your mother is the Queen of Poland? No.
What about Poland?
They said your mother is the Queen of Poland.
The whore Queen of Poland?
Hot milk with honey is nice? That's interesting.
I'll actually, what I'll say is when I was a kid, we used to make our own syrup. Because we had lots of maple trees. So we would tap our maple trees and get the sap, or whatever it's called, the goop. We would get the stuff. And we would make our own syrup. And that was just the best fucking shit ever.
I want blueberry syrup now.
I'm sure we can order it from Whole Foods or something like that. My God, I can't believe how good we're doing right now.
What about agave neck? I've never had that.
Isn't that what they make tequila out of?
I have no idea.
Agave? Ohuve? Magumbu?
Are you drunk?
I poured a big scotch. Delightful. Alright, do we have Magus peasants? Well, fuck you and your peasant face. That is that one, but we need to save up for Diplotech. Oh, well, I haven't actually looked the last hour at how much we, like, explored over here. So we can see California IA. We might need to hit up Hawaii. I think we could probably get to Hawaii or Guam.
What about molasses?
Hey, Lord Cucumber. Gotta go.
Thanks, Lord
Bye,
Cucumber.
Lord. He bought 2 more stories. Okay, so I'll do a story. Then do you have any? I'll do one, and then we'll think. So, back at Fantasyland, early morning shift, about 5 a.m., working the teacups, opening the teacups. Favorite villain of all time?
Must be drawn here.
Hey, Paint Cell!
This far, no farther.
Thanks for the sub. Working the teacups. Teacups only required 1 person to open, so I was the only person there. And we have almost, I think, all rides. All rides, if you're operating the actual ride, have emergency stop buttons that the employees carry. Usually look like a garage door opener, or like a cell phone or a walkie-talkie or something. And the policy was that you had to carry it in your hand around your neck because it came with a lanyard, or in the winter you could clip it onto the breast pocket of your coat. And 90% of people would wear it around their neck. And then I would refuse to do that because it would have dozens of people's disgusting, nasty sweat and skin cells sloughed off into it. And it was just the most disgusting lanyard that's never been changed, ever. It was horribly disgusting. Like, you would touch it and it would come off, like, your goop would come off in your fan. So it was winter, so I had it clipped onto the breast pocket of my jacket. And one of the managers comes over and goes, Benjamin, I see you've got that on the outside of your coat there. You either need to put it around your neck or hold it in your hand while you're operating the ride. And I was like, no, I don't. And I just kept doing my thing. And he, like, leans over the railing. He was like, no, I'm telling you, you have to do one or the other. You can't carry it on the outside pocket of your coat. I was like, yes, I can. And I kept doing my thing. So he comes into the ride and he was like, well, I'm telling you that that we're going to be changing the the policy, and that you have to change what you're doing right now. So I put down what I was doing, and I went into the little control booth, and I took out the operating manual, and I opened it up to the, like, page number 3 or whatever it is. I had it post-it noted because this was an issue before, and I opened it up to the page, and I pointed to the paragraph. It said the employees can carry it, and if they're wearing a jacket, on the outside pocket of their jacket. And he goes, well, we're changing the OG, the operating guide. So until then, I'm going to be passing the word. I'm going to be doing this word of mouth. And I went, no, you're not.
No, you can't do that.
I was like, no, you can't do that.
No,
he goes, well, it says in the first paragraph of the OG. Binks, can you get out of my way? And they put this as the very first thing in every single operating guide for every single. Okay, Binks, you just took a poop. I don't need you here. That the managers have discretion and can override any rule that they want for any time. And he pointed to that paragraph that says, like, I can make up any rule I want.
The very back or something like that, yeah.
Well, on the attractions, it was the first paragraph of the OG.
It might have been. It was just somewhere in there.
And then he points to that one, and he goes, so I'm telling you, you have to do this. So I took it, and I underlined a sentence in it, and I turned it back to him, and I went, no, I do not, and we could take this up with the union if you want. And the line says that they can override any rule for themselves, so they can do whatever they want. The managers can do whatever they want, but they cannot force other people to do things that are against the operating guide. So he sat there and argued with me for like 20 minutes to the point where the ride opened late.
That's awesome.
Because we were arguing about this, and I was telling him, I was like, look, I'm gonna keep doing it this way, and I need to get the ride open, and you're not letting me do my job. So when they ask me why the ride didn't open on time, I'm gonna tell them it's your fault. And he was like, who are you gonna tell? I was like, the manager on duty. He goes, I'm the manager on duty. I was like, okay, it's your fault the ride's not open on time. And it just went back and forth and back and forth. And at the end of it, he was just standing there with his hands on his hip going, are you going to do what I say? Nope. And then he walked away, and I never heard about it ever again.
That's funny.
Never heard about it ever again. No, I'm not going to do what you say just because you say that I should be doing it. You can go fuck yourself. Now you know why they didn't like me.
I have another story I can tell.
Go.
When I think I'd been there for maybe like a year, and those coordinators that I told you guys about, the ones that hated me with a passion, so it was early, probably about 4:45 in the morning, and we were all gathering for our morning meeting, and this woman passes by, the one woman in the couple, and
heavy ships.
She decided that when she passed by, she wanted to shoulder check me. The woman was huge compared to me, so when she hit me, I went flying. So they brought me downstairs, and I talked to the manager, and we got HR involved. And what happened was HR basically said, well, we can't really do anything about it, so we're going to have to throw this back to the department because it's a departmental issue, and we can't do anything on HR's end. So she got away with it because the managers, she's been there for like 30 years or something, and the managers are too afraid. Yep, and they play the race card. The managers are too afraid to do anything or go against them. So, thank you, Tesla. So nothing happened to her. She shoulder checked me, but nothing happened to her because the management wouldn't do anything.
You see what future Tesla said?
Yeah. Another mention of being brought downstairs, yes.
Oh, yeah, that
It's
happened to us a lot. Hey, what asks?
What asks?
He's the former Disney guy.
Well, I would have had him go out for a drink with us yesterday had it not been like a business thing.
Yeah. We can do it later.
Yeah. As long as you know how to get a hold of him.
Yeah, it's usually not that hard.
That's what she said.
That's an unfortunate one. Get over there. Oh, fuck you, you bitches. I wasn't paying attention because I'm drunk. Ow, you son of a bitch whores. What?
Can I beat Ben in an arm wrestling contest?
I don't know.
Maybe because he's massively drunk right now.
Maybe because I'm plastered, yeah. Maybe that gives me super strength. I have actually got admin points to use.
Being brought down to the basement sounds like an execution.
I am going to use it to reduce my... Look at that fucking income.
Oh, I have another thing I can tell them if they get to their next 10%.
Yeah, I got one too. I watched The Martian this morning. That is such a good movie.
It is a great movie.
Will you ever play EU4 with subs? I do that every week, actually.
Oh, it's EU4 that you do with them?
Yeah, I was doing Stellaris. 2 weeks ago, we started EU4.
Oh, that's fun.
All subs and all patrons. It's 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sundays. It's on the schedule.
Just start calling downstairs as Mickey's sex dungeon to spice things up and confuse
Oh,
newcomers.
Oh, my.
So they called... No, I can't tell them that because it's another story.
Ooh, trade efficiency for 10 years. That's a tough pill to swallow. That's what Mickey makes you do. Hey, Kickstepper.
Oh, I have a story to tell them.
I got one too.
Well,
Can I do mine?
No. They're almost to 90%.
No, you did. I did one, then you did one. It's my turn.
Excited to see your stream, Leah. Thank you. I can't wait to do it. 8 a.m. on Monday.
Eastern Standard Time.
Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, it's my turn. You can do it.